More winter weather is possible across the eastern United States as we head toward the end of the work week. Snow remains on the table, but cold air placement and moisture availability will determine how impactful this setup becomes. Millions across the eastern United States could see additional winter weather as we move toward the end of the work week and into next weekend. Snow remains possible, but the setup is complicated. The biggest questions right now involve the availability of cold air and whether enough moisture comes together to support a more impactful system. There are one or possibly two storm systems to watch. One could become more significant, but confidence remains limited. The goal right now is to sort through the model guidance, understand the broader pattern, and identify where winter weather has the best chance to develop. Model guidance continues to suggest some level of wintry weather potential for the eastern half of the country, while the western United States finally transitions into a more active winter pattern, with multiple storm systems, colder air, and accumulating mountain snow across the Rockies, Cascades, and Sierra Nevada. Looking first at the European model, attention turns to Thursday evening, the 12th. At that point, activity is largely confined to the eastern half of the lower 48. Light snow appears across parts of the Midwest, with energy diving southeastward. By Friday morning, snow spreads farther south into the lower Ohio Valley, the Mid-South, and parts of the Midwest. A stripe of moderate snow develops from the southern Midwest into the central and southern Appalachians. As the system progresses into Friday midday, guidance shows a rain-snow mix as far south as South Carolina and northern Georgia, with snow indicated across North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. By Friday evening, the system attempts to strengthen closer to the coastline. Snow appears across portions of South Carolina and a larger part of North Carolina before the system exits off the east coast. Behind it, attention shifts to a second storm system that has drawn significant attention online. Earlier runs showed deeper southern snow potential, but the latest overnight European run reduced that threat. The system still exists, but it is weaker, with less moisture and a less favorable cold air source. Snow signals remain across parts of Georgia and southwest North Carolina, but they are diminished compared to earlier runs. The 6Z European run still shows energy with this feature, but moisture remains limited at the surface. Snow flurries and light snow are possible across the Mid-South and western Carolinas on Friday, though the system is not as organized or moisture-rich as previous solutions. Turning to the GFS, a clipper system appears Thursday morning but weakens quickly. Moisture increases farther west with snow across the Midwest. That energy later merges into a larger system arriving next weekend. By Saturday night, a large low-pressure system tracks across the eastern United States. Cold air becomes trapped east of the mountains, allowing for a wintry mix, including freezing rain, as far south as the North Carolina mountains. The mid-Atlantic higher elevations see a solid wintry mix, with freezing rain extending into parts of Michigan beneath the northern precipitation shield. This system produces significant rainfall overall, but where cold air holds, winter weather remains possible. As the system evolves, a secondary low becomes dominant, cutting off the warm air source and allowing snow to increase across the Northeast by Sunday. However, areas along the I-95 corridor remain too warm due to the proximity of the low and a weaker cold air supply. The Canadian model presents a different scenario. By Thursday morning, it shows stronger southern energy and a more defined low-pressure system. By Friday morning, moisture increases with snow developing across North Carolina into Virginia. By midday Friday, this solution depicts a more organized snow event across eastern North Carolina, even extending snow as far south as Myrtle Beach by Friday evening before tapering off. A second system follows later in the weekend, showing heavier wintry mix across the mountains, ice potential near Charlotte and northeast Georgia, and snow across the Ohio Valley and Midwest before weakening. The Euro AI solution downplays the Friday system across the Carolinas and Virginia, but maintains the second system as a broad moisture event. Most precipitation falls as rain initially, with limited cold air damming due to weaker high-pressure placement. Some winter weather appears by Monday in the mid-Atlantic and southern Northeast, but overall impacts remain limited. Ensemble guidance shows a combined snowfall signal across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Carolinas, Virginia, and surrounding states through the Friday to Monday window. Snowfall means suggest several inches in favored areas, with a secondary signal for freezing rain indicating potential cold air damming. GFS ensembles show a similar footprint, with snowfall signals extending into the Carolinas, though this represents an average rather than a forecast. The overall pattern explains the uncertainty. Cold air is present initially for the Friday system, but moisture is limited. The later weekend system has better moisture, but the cold air source weakens and shifts east. The balance between these two factors will determine how much winter weather materializes. Looking west, the pattern becomes increasingly active. A large trough digs into the western United States, opening the door for repeated storm systems and colder air. This supports significant snowfall across the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, and Rockies through mid-February. This marks a major shift after a relatively quiet winter so far, including opportunities for snow in lower elevations and major improvements for ski areas, including Salt Lake City. In the short term, a clipper moves in today. Snow showers and flurries are possible across northern North Carolina and southwest Virginia, even where guidance shows limited accumulation. Activity fades later today and this evening. Tomorrow morning, there may be enough cold air for sleet pellets or flurries across parts of the southeast. The northeast remains quiet but very cold. The mid-Atlantic stays cold. The south-central United States remains largely quiet. Another clipper arrives late tonight into northeastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and the upper peninsula of Michigan, bringing a wintry mix with snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Temperatures remain bitterly cold across the Northeast, only marginally warmer than yesterday. The Southeast stays chilly, while Texas reaches the 70s and 80s, highlighting the sharp boundary separating winter and spring-like conditions.